Wii owners who are really hungry for a new Mario experience are in for a treat because Super Paper Mario is on its way very shortly. The game is sort of a new entry in the RPG branch on the Mario family tree that finds Mario and all the familiar faces that we know from his platforming adventures in kind of an RPG experience. This time out, Super Paper Mario is a little bit more platform than it is RPG, although there are quite a few RPG elements strewn throughout the game. Super Paper Mario offers sort of a new RPG experience that mixes platforming with the RPG elements that we've become familiar with in this particular branch of the series. You're going to control Mario and a couple other familiar faces from the platformers, and you're going to participate in a quest to, hey, save the world, there's a shock. This time out, it's a little more complicated because Peach and Bowser marrying, which is explained at the beginning, because no, it was not by choice, brings about the end of the world, like we all figured. Mario has to stop that. In order to do so, he needs to collect these objects called Pure Hearts. Once he gets all the different Pure Hearts that are spread out around the world, he'll be able to kind of fight off this growing void, and that will bring about the end of the world. And as far as the opposition, you'd think Bowser would have something to do with it, but he doesn't actually. He's sucked into all this along with Mario and Peach, and the real enemy is actually this mysterious Count Bleck. We don't know too much about him, he's clearly bad, and he has a pretty colorful collection of minions to get in Mario's way and try and stop him. As far as the gameplay goes, Super Paper Mario is probably one of the coolest Mario games we've seen in a while. First time you see it, it looks like a platformer. But Mario has the ability to sort of flip the world, and so these seemingly 2D worlds can then be flipped and traveled at in sort of a 3D fashion, and it completely changes the way you navigate a lot of the levels. There's a lot of really unique gameplay possibilities that are integrated really well, which is kind of cool considering that the game didn't actually start out to be a Wii game. It was originally for the GameCube and kind of moved over to the Wii. Besides having different playable characters, each with their own unique abilities, like Mario can flip, Peach can use her umbrella, etc. You're also going to have to use the flipping ability pretty extensively to navigate past traps, enemies, and deal with bosses in some pretty creative ways. And on top of Mario and everybody else's unique abilities that you can tap, there are these creatures called pixels, which are basically buddies. You start out with one by default who's always around. Her name's Tippy, she's kind of a butterfly. And when you use the Wii remote to point at the screen, she has sort of like a little flashlight thing that you can home in on enemies and objects and either tell you about them, or in the case of invisible doors or platforms, she can make them appear. On top of that, you have another pixel that can follow you around, and this is sort of like your swappable one. Over the course of the game, you're going to come across a variety of different pixels. Each one is going to offer a unique ability, and there's a bunch. You'll basically need to make sure that you've got the right one equipped at the right time because their unique abilities are vital towards helping you get through deeper into the game. As far as the visuals go, Super Paper Mario looks great. It's not super flashy or super next gen, but what it is extremely stylish and very smooth looking. It has great art direction. It's looking very cool right now. We've only seen like the first couple chapters of the adventure, but they have a really cool storybook quality, which is obviously enhanced by the game's unique sort of like 2D paper presentation. Like so many different aspects of the game that we've come across so far, there are obviously some pretty direct ties to classic Mario games. One of the power-ups in the game gives you a Pal Pill, and you're surrounded by little mini Marios that come and follow you around and take out enemies. There's also a Mega Star, which blows you up to this enormous pixel and makes you temporarily invincible. The Paper Mario series has always really benefited from some really tight writing, and this game's no exception. It's extremely funny, it's very fresh, and it's got that kind of Mario humor that we've seen work so well in games like Mario and Luigi for the GBA and the DS, Paper Mario for the N64. It's really funny and contemporary, but also works on a lot of different levels. Now in the control department, the game keeps it pretty simple. For the most part, your time with the game is going to be spent holding the Wii controller sideways, kind of NES style. Every once in a while, you're going to be required to use it to point, like when you're using Tippy and trying to find out more about whatever new things you're encountering. In addition, some of the items and power-ups that you're going to use are going to require you to follow on-screen prompts. On top of all that, the game is extremely active in getting you to move with it. So if you're a fan of fun action RPGs, or just hungry for a Mario game, you're definitely going to want to keep an eye out for Super Paper Mario. game ships really shortly. We'll be having some media updates and whatnot on the site leading into the full review. But we really did just want to make sure people know to keep their eyes open because this one looks like it's going to be really cool.